First out as a red team captain, I told my men to ditch our automatic submachine guns and sentry armor to trick our enemy into thinking we were a smaller, under-equipped force. Then we would counterattack, but foot might after they get cocky and overextend. But it turns out one of my squad leaders who wasn't present at the briefing actually sold equipment thinking it was all faulty, resulting in our counterattack, forced to be decimated by superior firepower. Second hour as a red team captain, I gave a compass and binoculars to a scavenger, telling him he's responsible for getting vital artillery coordinates. After a few minutes, he frantically screamed out the marks and we started to fire. It turns out the child was actually colorblind, and when he saw our first line of defense, he mistook them for the enemy, and we ended up shelling our own men. Third hour as a red team captain, I ordered my men to mortar it in order to raise up dust and have the shrapnel impact the blues. But before that, I had to give them a drill in order to know what coordinates or in what ammunition to use. So while that was going on, I started hearing on the radio what Colts got themselves on the point. Before I get to tell the boys to call it off, they fire all those gas shells and it ends up hiding our men, which is good. But now they're all dying, which screws up my plan. Fourth hour as a red team captain, we finally managed to repair the blues and take the middle bunker after a long struggle. I decided it was time to survey the battlefield with my own eyes instead of relying on information on the radio, since it seems that either my entire army is plotting against me and losing on purpose to get me executed by high command, or they are actually just that incompetent. I was met with a sentry who was lying in our trench and spewing blood like a fire hose. I desperately tried to patch him up and call a practitioner. I asked him who shot you, he said he fell down the trench and didn't know how to stand up. He then immediately said something about how this server sucks and he's leaving. Suddenly he immediately went limp and started to snoring in deep sleep. I said, oh, to this day have no idea what he meant. Fifth hour as a red team captain, I finally got on the line with a squad leader who sounded like they knew what they were doing. He told me he and his men desperately needed more supplies on the front line. I organized a small party of scavengers to help me gather up all the leftover ammunition and supplies lying around in the base so we could send it all in one crate to the front line. But it turns out someone had taken all that ammunition and stuffed it in their satchel, probably to only die in the field without firing a shot. Instead we had to spend all our hard and pull some new supplies from cargo. We decided to give them extra firepower, so we tried to buy some shotguns to go along with the supplies. We came up short about 5 credits, which sent the children into a frenzy, saying someone needed to sacrifice their need for the order to be complete. They all collectively turned to me and all pulled out their pliers. In response, I roundhouse kicked the nearest child in the mouth, which ejected all 32 teeth in one go. But apparently it wasn't enough, since the children think a grown man's teeth are more valuable, so they still jumped me. I managed to fend off the scavengers due to them not playing enough violent video games, thus having less combat knowledge. 6 hours as a red team captain, I gathered up the remaining scavengers who managed to survive my brutal beatdown and told them to carry the supply crate across no man's land and deliver it to our men at the middle bunker. I sent them on their way and went to the practitioners to let them hear the small bruises I've suffered by being in combat with the children. During my treatment, the competent squad leader started to chew me out and demanded to know where their raid supplies were. I looked at my watch and 20 minutes had passed, meaning the scavengers should have been there by now. I once again surveyed the field with my binoculars and found out the reason why the supplies hasn't been delivered. It was because a blue sniper had dug himself a one-time trench on the far east side of the mountain walls. It was a genius plan, I had to admit. No one ever tries to flank east or west of no man's land because both sides' troops don't have the brain power to go anywhere but in a straight path down there, making it the perfect sniping spot.